Hello, friends. Today is my last day that I can say that I'm under 50. It's tomorrow I turn 50. And I don't feel 50. I feel, 29. But pretty soon the math's not going to work out because my kid's going to be 21. So I'm going to have to turn 30 one of these years. And we're getting ready for Samhain, and this is part of the Samhain series. So I wanted to talk about reflection and what you do and how you do it. So as we've talked about a million times before, Samhain is the season of reflection and sort of looking through your past year. And because I am turning 50, I'm going to sort of do a 50 sort of intentions and reflections and lessons I've learned in the first half of my life, hoping that I live to be 100, right? So what have I learned? And I was thinking today, like you get to a point in your life where, when you're a kid, you're like a fireball, right? I had to go into work today, and I was at one of our campuses. That's not the predominant campus, but one of our South Side campus. And it's actually in the old steel building, which is where my father's paycheck somebody in there would do the magic and make the check, and then, my father would get paid. My father was not a white shirt, which is what the people were called that worked in that building. My father was a crane operator. And so I had to park really far away, and it's hard to walk, right? So I'm learning to walk again. But I took my time, and I had to walk by this this yard of all these different things that were used in the steel company, because there's a museum there, and one of them was a crane, and my father was a crane operator, and he worked the swing shift. And I was thinking to myself, there's railroad tracks there, and I was thinking that when I was a little girl, my father worked swing, and I would always worry, because you would hear these stories or you'd read these stories in the paper, because we got a physical paper, and I was a paper delivery girl, when people would get hurt at the steel, and I would always worry about my dad. And I would remember laying in bed on our house in Spring Street, and I would wait to hear the train whistle down at the train yard, because that meant that my dad was going to be home in about 15-20 minutes. And so I would wait every night for that train whistle to go, and then I would wait, and then 15-20 minutes later my dad would be home. And I just remembered that today. And I thought, I have 50 years of these amazing memories. Useless to most people, but meaningful to me. I was very close to my dad. I was close to both my parents. I was very fortunate and very grateful that I had, that I loved and had a good relationship with both of my parents. So, as we get older, we think, well, there's probably not anything else I need to learn, right? I probably know the things I need to know, and that's not true. That is not true. We should always be learning. And I learned something today. I learned about pine cones. Now, I love pine cones. I love nature, right? But here's something I did not know. Pine cones, here's 2 pine cones here as an example. These were pine cones from Odie and Lemongrass's wedding. And I have 2 so that I could put them on my little space back here with my stuff, because I like pine cones. I had no idea that pine cones can tell you the weather. So when they get wet, and I ran it underwater to test this theory, they close up to protect their seeds. And so this one, is dry, and this one is thinking it's not going to rain or snow. So it's open, right? And they'll also close if squirrels are coming near, because they don't want squirrels to get their nuts. But if they get wet, or they think it's going to rain, or they think that there are squirrels coming, they close up like this. Who knew that? I've probably held 1,000 pine cones in my life. I've definitely slept on 1,000 pine cones in my life. Who knew that? I had no idea. But now I know, right? So even though I'm going to be 50 tomorrow, it took me 50 years to figure that out. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a reflection and write what I'm grateful for and lessons I've learned in the 50 years I've been on this planet. And I wanted to show you my journal. It's my journal. Get it on Amazon. I am a boomer. It just comes plain blue, and then you can stick your own stickers on it. So you see I have all kinds of hiking stickers and whatnot, and Appalachian Trail stickers. And I do have like little, like postcards and stuff that I've glued in. And I just got a postcard on our way home from Alabama that I kind of stick in here just to remember things. And then I'll write in there. And I also do, like, whenever I pull cards, or most of the time I pull runestones, but when I do that, I'll often write them in here and then do a reflection in here. And I like it because it's really big. But I've also been really kind of using little just notepads, right? Because I get an idea, and so then I'll write it on a notepad first, and then I'll add it later on into my book. So I'm going to come up with the things I'm most grateful for, and I'll do a video on that. Grateful for, learned, and then set intentions for the next 50 years, right? So my number one intention is to be light and love. That is my number one intention. But I was jotting down some other ideas, some things that I'd like to focus on and to really examine in my own life to make me a better person, and hopefully to make the world a better place, really, because that is, at the end of the day, we are not, I watched a video today, and I always say this, but it's always awesome when I hear it from somebody else. We are souls living in a human experience. We aren't humans having a soul experience. So I'm going to try to always remember that, not just in theory, but in practice. So that's my number one goal. And if I've learned anything over the course of my life, I used to really be a hothead, really be overreact about a lot of stuff, especially when I was younger. I was full of fire and brimstone. And I've really, like, when I look back over my life in reflection, it's like I have really chilled out over the course of my lifetime. And because you realize, I think, in time that nothing is ever permanent and things change, and something that can seem super, super bad in the moment, it works itself out, and things are meant to be, the way that they are. I probably one of my greatest gifts and my greatest faults is how deeply I love things, people, animals, right? And when I lose one, whether through death or just separation, my soul really, really feels it. So I need to be more careful of the connections I make. And I'm not talking about like hikers that stay in the yard. I love them, but I also recognize that relationship is going to be, just a few hours old. They're staying with me, then they're off on the trail, and I'm loving them on the trail, and I'm never going to talk to them again. I'm never going to see them again. Like when you go camping and you meet all the families that are camping around you. I'm not talking about those relationships. I'm talking about the people that you pull into your life. People will disappoint you, and the people that you invest a lot of time and love in too will disappoint you, and sometimes you don't know why. I think you know why, but I think you don't understand how they could say in one sentence that they love you, and then in the next action they do act so unloving. So, I think in my second 50 years, I'll be much more cautious about the people that I extend that sort of love to. And I'll pretty much keep people at the first kind, which is, I love you, and I love you on your path, and I won't feel a need to pull you onto my path. Because I actually have a lot of love in my life, and I'm grateful for the love that I have, and I'm grateful for the people that I have, and I probably have not ever appreciated it as much as I do now, because you really find out who's on your team, when things are down, or when things are stressful, or when you're laid up for 15 weeks, you really kind of find out who really is on your side. And I'm grateful for those people. So tonight's work is going to be about gratitude and reflection and setting intentions. And I'll do a video after I've written it. So now I'm going to go meditate and get into the space that I need to be in my head to do it. And I'm wishing you all the best and light and love. And tomorrow when I talk to you, I will be half a century old. Wow. I don't think I look too bad for my age, but, the jury's out. So be well. Take care. Bye-bye.